Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Brassmonke X. So we're finally getting to the Duracoat on Project Lich King. So if you go back to our last video on Project Lich King, I show you guys the color scheme that we're going with and which parts we're actually going to be Duracoating. So if you want to know what we're actually Duracoating, go back, check that video out. This video here, I'm going to show you guys my setup, what I use and how I Duracoat, and then we're just going to go ahead and go right into actually Duracoating the parts. I know it's going to be a long video. Some of you guys are into this, some of you guys aren't. So this video is not for everybody. So if you want to sit back and relax and just watch a guy sit in his garage and Duracoat gun parts for the next hour or so, you've come to the right place. Let me show you guys my setup here and what I actually use. So to do the Duracoating, I have my Posh airbrush. It's the H series airbrush. If you're going to be using an airbrush like this, like a smaller hobby airbrush, I recommend you don't set your compressor to more than like 40 pounds of pressure. Okay, that's what they recommend. They recommend like 35. I find that 40 works pretty good, but you don't really want to go more than that. It's too much pressure. That these aren't designed to handle more pressure than that. So about 40 psi is where you want to be. Okay. Always make sure you're wearing gloves and you have a mask. Okay. You definitely want to wear a mask. This stuff's pretty stinky. Definitely want gloves too. As you get this stuff on your hands, and it's a bitch to get off. It's really not easy to get this stuff off your hands. So what we're working with today is the Battleship Gray Duracoat, okay, and we also have some hardener that we're gonna be using. This comes with the Duracoat. Now Duracoat recommends that you mix it at a 12-to-1 ratio. So there's a couple different ways you can mix it. That 12-to-1 ratio works out to, you can use like measuring cups like these, like little measuring spoons. It's 4 tablespoons to 1 teaspoon. Works out to be the 12-to-1 ratio of Duracoat to hardener. Now that's not bad if you're using like this whole bottle, but I'm only gonna be using like half the bottle. So that mixture, using the spoons is way too much. Like a whole tablespoon, you're gonna need 4 of these. All right, to 1 teaspoon of hardener, which is this. All right, that's a lot, guys. I'm not using that much, so I'm not going to mix up that much. So what I use is, I have these little droppers. I got them from Amazon. I actually have to get some more. I got them in bulk at one point, but these go by milliliters. So again, I'm probably not even going to be using that much, but I'm just going to mix up 12 milliliters to 1 milliliter of hardener. Okay, so just use a little dropper. That way you're not over mixing and wasting the stuff, because this stuff can get a little pricey. Then aside from that, we also have some lacquer thinner here on the bench. Lacquer thinner, you're going to need that to clean everything up at the end, but I use it for 2 other reasons. The first thing I do once I'm all set up is I'm going to put a little bit of the lacquer thinner in the air gun, and I'm going to run it through just to get everything lubed up and flowing well. And then I usually don't have issues with my airbrush. You may have issues with yours. I don't know. It all depends. Mix up your Duracoat, and once it's mixed, if it's too thick and your airbrush isn't spraying it, put a little bit of the lacquer thinner in there to reduce it. But don't put too much where you're gonna thin it out way too much. You don't want to use more than 20% lacquer thinner to Duracoat mixture. Okay. So just a little drop in there just to thin it out a little bit. You could use the lacquer thinner to thin it out. So that can help too. But like I said, I just need it for cleanup and to lube everything up prior to me doing the Duracoat. But yeah, that's everything you're going to need. Okay. And then you're going to need your parts. Let me just show you what I do here is normally what I've done in the past is I would find a spot on the parts to run a piece of like twine through, and I'd hang the parts. But I find it's a little difficult to paint the parts while they're hanging from my ceiling. So I'm trying this method out this time, where everything's masked off, and then I have these clamps on here to kind of stabilize the workpiece while I'm working on it. So they should hold it up, and then I can set it off to the side, set it off to dry. Nothing's hanging from my ceiling. I'm not going to bump into anything. So hopefully this works out. This is the first time I'm ever trying this method, but we're going to try it out and see how it goes. But just to show you, this is the setup for the parts themselves. But all right, we're at the point in the video now where I can't sit here and do this with no music on. I got to go turn my radio on. But you guys know how YouTube is. They're going to strike my video, and there's like copyright issues if there's songs that are popular and whatnot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to get everything set up. I'm going to come back, and I'm just going to go ahead and start Duracoating. But I need to go turn my radio on. You guys aren't going to hear any of that. The video is going to pause. When we come back, you're going to have some kind of generic music that YouTube allows. So sit tight. This is going to take me a few minutes. For you, it's going to be instantaneous. But when we come back, I'm going to try and pick out some okay music for you. If not, you can just go ahead and mute it, watch me do my thing. And then what we're going to do is at the very end of the video, again, we're going to pause. And I'm going to come back in a couple of days once everything's dried and cured. And I'm going to show you guys the finished product all in one video. Okay? So for me, this is going to take a couple of days. For you guys, it's just going to be, I don't know how long this video is going to be. Maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. So if you guys are really into this, if you're in it for the long haul, stay tuned. And like I said, I'm going to pause the video here. We'll be right back, and we'll get right into it, guys. guys, that's pretty much all she wrote. As you can see, I got 3 coats on there, nice and easy. You spray it on real light. You don't want to go too thick at all. Like I showed you, after I did each part, I went and set it down, got the next part, gave that first part time to dry while I did the other 2. After the 3 initial coats, it looked pretty good, but you could see a couple of spots that needed some touch-up. So on that 4th coat that I came in and did, that's where I went on a little bit thicker, and I tried to make sure everything was coated real good. I didn't miss any spots. So on that 4th and final coat, I always do that. I usually go on a little bit thicker than the other coats. That way I make sure it's all coated and we're all good to go. As you can see, I had some issues with the clamp here on that one piece on the handguard there. It kept popping off. For some reason, it wouldn't stay on. Maybe I just needed a bigger clamp. I don't know. Maybe the clamp itself is just defective. I really don't know, but it just, this little piece kept popping off the clamp, which it wasn't a big deal because the handguard, it was all taped off on the top anyway, so I could just lay that flat. I didn't really need the clamp. It was just, you know, it was helpful to have it there. But, you know, the clamp method seemed to have worked out pretty well. All the parts are over on my bench now drying. If you want to see, I mixed up, I did 24 milliliters of the Duracoat, and then I did 2 milliliters of the hardener. That's how I mixed this. And it was about half of this container, and I still have about a quarter of it left. So I mixed way too much. I could have just done 12 milliliters and I would have been fine. But I got this little bit of Duracoat left over. I don't know what I'm going to do. It probably nothing. I'm probably just going to end up wasting it. But yeah, I only used about half of this container, and it did all 3 of those parts. You know, and it like I said, I still have some left. So that just goes to show you how far you can make this stuff stretch. And I didn't even reduce it with any lacquer thinner or anything. So when you do get this stuff, guys, don't mix the whole bottle when you're ready to do a job. Because this bottle, this will easily do several projects. So, but there you go, guys. Like I said, there were some tips, a couple pointers. You saw how I did it. Maybe I helped you out. Maybe I didn't. Maybe you were, you know, maybe you were bored and you didn't mind sitting here watching an hour-long video of me painting things in my garage. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's all we got. Oh, you know what? That isn't all we got, actually. I'm going to come back. I'm going to edit all this. I'm going to show you guys the finished product. I'll just throw that into this video. I'm not going to make a separate video for it. So in a couple days, I'll come back. I'll unmask everything. And then I'll show you guys what it all looks like when it's done and dried and cured. And then that'll be the end of the video. Alright guys, so it's been 24 hours now since I finished Duracoating everything. The Duracoat has completely dried. It hasn't cured yet. In my experience, it takes at least a week, sometimes 2, depending on the temperature and the conditions and everything, for it to completely cure. So I could probably go ahead and assemble it now, but I'm going to wait a few days. But I just wanted to show you guys what it looks like now that it's all done. I took all the masking tape off, and I wanted to show you guys. So I got to tell you, I am loving this two-tone with the black with the gray. Oh my god, it came out exactly how I wanted it to. So here's the stock. Okay, I got the black buffer tube on the top. Oh, it came out so nice. I'm really digging this color. I love that gray has got that little bit of blue tint to it. Here's our hand guard. Okay, again, I went with that two-tone look. I don't think it would have looked good if I did the whole thing in the Battleship gray. I'm so glad I left that top rail all black like that. As you can see where that decal was, came out friggin' awesome, if I say so myself. Couldn't be more pleased with that. That logo is so badass. But let me go ahead and kind of mock it up for you here and show you what it's going to look like. We'll just kind of lay it down here and put some of the parts together so you can get a feel for the whole color scheme. We'll go ahead and put our upper receiver on there. Line up the handguard with it. And then there you go, guys. She is going to be looking sweet when I get her all put together. Oh my god, I am so excited about this. This color scheme is so nice. I love this color. As a matter of fact, I may do one of my pistols in this color as well. Now that I'm thinking about it. Man, that looks so good. But alright guys, I've taken up enough of your time here. So, thanks for tuning in guys. I really appreciate you watching. Stay tuned. We're going to have some fun with this build. I am so excited to get this going. But again, thanks for watching guys. I really appreciate it. And we'll catch you next time.